Good afternoon, everyone. Bitch, I made it out later, but good.
Perfect way to start the episode off. You gotta keep that.
You got oh no, yeah, I'm gonna keep that shit. The man Zoom tweaking, but hey, everybody, good afternoon. Happy Saturday, Saturday when we're recording this. Welcome to Grande Gang TV, where we hope to inspire you to live like grande, which just means big in Spanish. We just want to inspire you to get the most out of life. Today, we had the privilege of speaking with Big Jock ATL. Jock is an artist management specialist, and also, you know what, Jock, what is your position at CAD? Before we even get too deep into it, what is your position at CAD?
So I eliminated what a CEO. I eliminated the position of CEO because for years I used to say that shit. I'm CEO.
Mm,
So what I say now is I'm head of creative control and artist management
okay,
because we never know. Like one day we might IPO and actually hire a real CEO to run it like a business.
exactly. Yeah,
You feel
that's
me?
true. So, as he just introduced himself. So this is Big Jock ATL. He's over artist management and creative direction at CAD, which is an Atlanta-based collective group. It actually stands for Creators After Dark. So they're a real great group. I fuck with those guys. They have a nice label. They do local shows, and it's not limited to music. They do things relating to all of the fine arts. They host art events. They host spoken word events, and they really just have a great brand going here. So the whole goal of this interview today is just to talk with him a little bit more about that, so we can all learn a little bit about CAD and really just show some love. But before we get too deep into it, Jock, can you just start off by introducing yourself and telling people where you're from, what you're about, anything you like the people listening to know.
Yeah. So my name's Jock. Born and raised Southwest Atlanta. Um, yeah, man, I fight for, first of all, I fight for the freedom for creatives to create and be compensated exactly for what they create and, getting their worth. I fight for the ability for Black artists to monetize outside of traditional norms. And I just fight for creatives. Like that's my mission, to fight for creatives to be able to do whatever they want, to live freely and be able to monetize their own things without having to go through corporations.
That's definitely respectable. Because sorry, I'm trying to find the right words, but I this is exactly why he's here, because as the internet continues to grow, as people start to, as individuals, you start to be able to do a lot of these things on your own. It's a lot of us don't know. A lot of us don't know about artist management or marketing or how to set up a show, and to prevent, and we there's a long history of us getting fucked over, of young creatives getting fucked over in the music industry and entertainment industry because they don't understand the industry. So I really do appreciate and fuck with your mission, because it's something that's necessary in today's time. But while we are learning to be more independent, there's still stuff that we just can't. You can't do everything by yourself. You just can't.
Right, right.
And I want you to keep going with that shit, bro. I don't ever want you to stop. I don't ever want you to stop, because the reality of it is you're helping me learn about artist management and the entertainment industry, so that I can help my homies that I know, so that I can continue to spread the knowledge.
Nah, for sure, man. Like me and my nigga Black, we be laughing, but we always say we do it for the community. We do everything for the community.
Yeah, because whether you guys know it or not, people are listening and people are watching, and people are always trying to learn from you guys, because you guys are honestly a great example. So
Appreciate that.
no doubt, bro. So argument. So can you tell us a little bit, like, when you were growing up, or what led you, you know, how did the things you go through in childhood, how did that lead you to wanting to get into developing artists and managing artists and helping artists be independent?
So okay, I'm not gonna draw out the story too much. So growing up, I grew up, it was just me and my mom, single parent household. But what happened was my mother felt like because I was a boy growing up that I should be able to view the world a certain way. So I grew up with no restrictions. I didn't have to come into the house early when I was a little boy. Like if I was outside playing at 10, 11 o'clock, it was okay. I was able to read whatever I want. So if I picked up a Zane book and started reading it and I read the entire book, it was okay. There was no restrictions on what I watched. I never really got into watching like porn or no shit like that when I was a little kid. But my mom didn't have no restrictions on me watching like she took me to see Training Day when I was like 7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that's
Like
a
like
real
like
movie.
yeah, like Scarface. I saw all of the hood classics before I was 10 years old. So I grew up, and then very early on, I started buying magazines. I started buying The Source and the Vibe magazines, like when I was a kid. And early on, my mom saw that was my interest. Like not really just music, but I was just interested in artistic, creative shit. Like I used to get her to buy me art magazine. It's so crazy to this day. It's still like that. I could walk into a store and if the cover gets me, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I was when I was a kid, man. I wasn't a huge comic book kid. I wasn't a kid. Basically, I don't think I think after 6 or 7, I wasn't a kid anymore. I knew so much about adult stuff.
Yeah,
Like
you like that just wasn't you no more. That wasn't you weren't in the cartoons or none of that.
Well, I watched cartoons up until about 9 to 10, and then I was watching The Wire, The Sopranos, like I was watching Goodfellas. I was a huge movie buff when I was a kid too, like DVD collection. Like everybody used to love coming to my house. They'd be like, Jaquez got every CD, every DVD collection, just overwhelming amount of music and movies. And early on, around the age of 7, I started writing. And didn't write music. I was just writing stories. I would write stage plays, stories. When I got in 5th grade, actually, funny ass story. My teacher called my mom and was concerned because for the writing prompt, because in Georgia you have to take the writing test to go to middle school. So for the writing prompt, I wrote this. It was 5 pages. It was like 5 regular notebook paper pages you were supposed to write. And the story was so in-depth and crazy. She called my mom and was like, "Is something going on at the house?"
Oh, she was concerned.
She was concerned because I think the story I had wrote was about like a detective trying to catch this kid that was selling drugs in the neighborhood. I think I had watched The Corner or some shit, and that's what made me write that.
Yeah.
And she was like, is everything okay? Like, do y'all live in a drug infested neighborhood or something? And it was real funny. It was real funny because I remember coming home and my mom being like, "Why your teachers calling me talking about like, do we live in the trap or some shit?" I'm like, "Cause like I wrote like, I wish I had that prompt because it's so funny how like dramatic she was being about my writing." But I wrote really well at 5th. Like in 5th grade, I was writing at an 8th, 9th grade level.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a good writer. Middle school came. You go through the growing pains and stuff. You start seeing stuff. You jump off the porch, whatever. Then I wanted to be a rapper. So I started rapping, and then I realized that I was a way better writer than I was a rapper.
Same. I had that
I could rap
pretty
though.
young.
I could rap. The crazy shit was I could rap. I did all the talent shows. I did all that shit. I was rapping like Wale before Wale.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I was this is like 06, 07, so it's like Rocco Jeezy. It's like nobody want to hear that shit.
Yeah, like nigga, get off the stage.
Right. Right, but niggas respected it because, like,
Yeah.
when it came to like battling and freestyling, had they ass. Like, easily.
exactly. But it was just your personal style was just a little. It was just a little against the norm, which is nothing
Yeah,
wrong with.
like you know how your teacher be like, yo, write a song for class and you can write about whatever you want. I come in there, I wrote about I'll never forget, I wrote this shit called The Weatherman, because I wrote about the hurricane systems. And them folks in the class was like going, there's like, oh man, this shit. And I remember, you know how your friends be bigging you up everywhere you go. So I remember like we went to like this other school and they was like, oh, Jock rap. And I tried to rap the weatherman shit to them niggas, and them niggas was like, yo, that shit suck. And I
That
was like,
shit
damn,
trash.
that shit garbage.
Damn.
Yo, so then I went to Carver Early College program here in Georgia. Kind of finessed my way in there because by 8th grade I was bad as hell, but I got in there. That's really how I kind of owned my craft, was in high school. So high school is where like everything kind of like happens. So my mom knows like I'm still kind of in the music shit, but not really. So what happened was I got out of rapping and then I really started being supportive of like the local rappers at the school, because I felt like I can't do this, but I'm gonna help any nigga that wants to do this. I'm their spokesperson.
Yeah. Like
So we
I'm
had
gonna live through you. I'm gonna live vicariously through you type shit.
right, and I just felt like I was better. I had a better idea of like what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple rappers at Carver. PK, this nigga named Mike Giovanni, who didn't go to Carver. He was actually older than us, but he's the first nigga I ever met that had like a LLC for his record label. Like he had a real studio that he owned, that he worked out of, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like being 17 and really living the rapper life.
Yeah, like really doing it. Like he really doing it. That's what's up, bro. That's a blessing to get that type of an example, like you said, in early college while you were in high school.
Yeah, bro, like crazy. So Mike Giovanni, shout out to my nigga Joey Cool. You know, nigga, you act like you don't know us no more, but you nigga, but Joey Cool, nah, that's my partner. He was the first, so he was also the first nigga, because we went to a school that was more so focused around you was either gang banging, a dope boy, a athlete, or a nobody.
No in between.
So
No in
no
between.
in between. I kind of like changed that because I became the nigga that everybody knew and I wasn't involved in nothing for real. I mean, I hustled a little bit, sold a little weed here and there, and you know, of course, I hung out with all the bloods, but I just was like, you know, just so out removed from what was going on. But the rappers were like, they got no respect, man. Like Joey Cool, I didn't even find out he was recording people until we was in 11th grade. Because we went through that phase of niggas in Atlanta, like being in high school rapping. But by the time we had got to 11th, 12th grade, like Rich Kids and Travis Porter and all this, that shit had kind of like phased out. It wasn't phased out, it was phasing out.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just in the y'all could see the transition happening. Like y'all were living through it while it was happening.
Yeah,
Because
because like
I was younger when that shit was happening. I was way younger. So and I remember how stark of a transition it was from, Travis Porter and them niggas to the next wave. It wasn't no
it,
easy transition.
yeah, you know, because we had went from Snap Music, you know, with Snap Music, the high schoolers really ran Snap Music, if we being honest. And then when the Snap Music died and Schoolie Them came out, we was in middle school. So Schoolie Them was like in 10th grade, you know, on the radio. So it became a thing where like every single high school in Atlanta had a rap crew that was like Rich Kids.
Yeah. Literally.
At Carver, I think our crew was Young Stars. But see, what happened was when them niggas graduated, there was no more of the rich kid, like the rich kid type vibe and the Travis Porter type crews was phasing out, because once them niggas kind of made it, they weren't pulling other crews up.
Yeah,
So
like they weren't showing love like that.
yeah, like DC Young Fly was in a crew. He was in Polo Kids, and then he was in some shit called Fours Up. But that was like a Maze High School. high school rap crew that was like rich kids. And then what happened was when he left the crew, which literally that's the DC tattoo on his head is the crew.
Yeah.
He started just being Young Fly, and then he ended up transitioning. He still does music, but really transitioning into the comedy
Primarily in the
shit.
comedy, yeah.
But see, just to give you an idea of like how the music shit kind of changed, like for us, for our age group. So once that happened, we started having like a couple more rappers. There's actually a hot rapper in Atlanta right now, Kenny Mason. I went to high school with Kenny, but crazy shit is back then. See, it was such a underlooked thing at Carver. Like we wasn't a high school that was breeding rappers. So the few rappers we had, they kind of had like internet status, but they wasn't respected on the field. Like we never had talent shows, none of that shit. It was so the rappers that were there, I kind of tried to be there for. So my nigga Black, that I was talking about earlier, he was a rapper. My nigga Miles rapped, my nigga Earl rapped. There was a nigga, like I said, Kenny Mason. Back then, I think his name was Ken Neutron, and his homeboy Jada. Like that was it. So I just named about 7 niggas. That was it.
Yeah, about 7, 8 people.
Yeah, that was it as far as rappers that wasn't from the neighborhood. Oh, and Boo, rest in peace, Pittsburgh Boo. But yeah, and Boo. But that was it, bro. So
rest in peace, bro.
So we was working on move. What happened was my mom tried to get me for my birthday. She tried to give me a tour of Patchwork Studios, and it never happened. But she told me she was trying to take me because she saw that like I was dead ass serious about the rap music. And this is when the story get interesting. So at the time I was troubled. I'm gonna say I was a troubled youth getting into a lot of shit.
A troubled youth.
So my mom started making me go to church, and I was in the church had like a youth program for other troubled youth. That was a horrible idea, but
yeah. Just putting y'all all together to, get in trouble together.
We was hell, but we was church kids. We was hell, but we was definitely the church crew. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And them niggas rap too, which was crazy. So what happened was the fucking pianist at the church was named Big Worm. And
yes, sir.
That ass serious. I'm so serious, bro. So his name was Big Worm. Big Worm was the assistant engineer for Teddy Riley after he left Guy.
Oh, wow.
So all the Blackstreet records, he did a couple Naughty by Nature songs. He did a lot of album cuts. He didn't do a lot of hits, but he had a lot of plaques on his wall at his house.
Yeah, just from credit and work and shit.
Yeah, so I meet him and he's like, "What you trying to do?" I was like, "Well, I want to start my own label." And he was like, "You a kid?" He was like, "You sure you want to start your own label?" He said, "You got some artists?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell your mom to bring you out to my house in Lawrenceville." I said, "Okay, cool." So the first time I go, I take my boy Miles and my boy Earl out there, and we do some songs. And I remember like being such a novice. I was like, okay, Worm said we're gonna be out there for what, 3-4 hours. All right, we could probably knock out like 5-6 songs. And I remember going out there and them niggas couldn't finish one song. They did literally one song and he burnt the CD of the record. And I was like, yo, y'all niggas tripping. Y'all niggas wasting our time. Like, this nigga like let us in his house, letting us record in his studio. Like, nigga, we walk in the studio and nigga, it's like platinum and gold records on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, we in a real studio, nigga, y'all bullshit. And I remember he started laughing. He was like, yo, this how I know you a CEO. Because you mad at these niggas because they never been in a real studio before and they don't know what to do. And then he gave me the best lessons, bro. Like, we went over his house a couple more times. He ended up going on tour with CeeLo Green, and I slick never heard from him again, no cap. Because I don't know, I guess I was just an annoying kid that kept like trying to go to his house and record for free.
Yeah.
But the lessons I learned made me build my first label, which was Rambo Entertainment Music Group. And I signed Miles, Earl, Black, my partner Black, my nigga Dwight, who was a producer, and my nigga Donovan. Like all of them signed to the label. And
when did you start that label?
when I was 16.
Oh my God. So first label at 16. So this so artist
Official
management,
too.
official,
Official too. LLC and everything. Like
everything.
so before you can get an LLC, because you can't before the age of 18 because you have
Yeah.
to be old enough to get a tax ID number. There was this shit called poor man's accreditation, which is still a legal law to this day. All you do is you write out your articles of corporation. You know, you have to type it all up yourself. You have to basically make the LLC paperwork. You put it in a manila folder, closed, you never open it.
Yeah,
And
sealed.
you sealed, you sign everything, and you have it mailed to yourself with a stamp date. So if anyone ever came about and said, well, we want Rambo Entertainment LLC, I would be able to present that in court. Like, this is my poor man's accreditation LLC paperwork.
Okay.
And
Wow.
Worm taught me that. Worm taught me that. That's why, you know,
that was a power move, bro.
Very important, bro. Very important. Like, and he taught me a lot about the legality of music too. Like, we spent a lot of hours at his house. And as a kid, I was more so pissed because I'm like, yo, we coming over here to record. This nigga talking about lawyers and advances and royalty agreements. He was even talking about advances because he was like, you sign these niggas, what you give them? I said, I ain't give them nothing. And he was like, so you split 50-50 with your artist and you ain't give them nothing? I said, they here listening to you. He was like, that's fair. He'd be like, that's fair. That's some value there. But, you know, he was talking to me about a whole bunch of shit. And at the time, I just wasn't really resonating well with it. But now that I'm older, I remember everything he told me. And yeah, man. And then Rambo Entertainment kind of folded when I was 17 because, like I said, I was in the streets fucking up. But not only that, I think my friends weren't ready to be artists. Because
that's a big part in artist management as well, especially when you start so young. It definitely, even from me hearing the story, it just seemed like, not saying that they didn't really want it or anything, but like y'all was
no,
young,
they didn't really want it. You could say that they didn't really want it.
Like,
they didn't see what I saw.
They didn't see the vision for real like you did. Like, I know you, I can see you, like I can picture it in my head. You at his house, like, yo, what are y'all niggas doing? Like, bro, let's record. Like, it was just something that niggas was just doing to be cool. Cause I mean, you know, that's high school, bro. Like, it's natural.
Bro, let me tell you something. They didn't want it. And it's not only they didn't want it. See, Black wanted it, but the problem with Black and his cousin Tez was, I think they wanted it because they really wanted to be rappers all the way up to before we went to college. Like, they was still performing. I had got them some shows at some strip clubs. Like, they really wanted to win, but I feel like they weren't ready. Like, I was too advanced for my friends, because I was telling them, y'all got to start performing. So we got to start throwing parties so y'all can come perform at the parties. Like, I remember telling Black, like, bro, we got to throw this big ass party, bro. We got to try to throw a party at somebody's house. And then we just going to give you the mic and you start performing and shit. I was telling him, bro, you got to perform at prom. You got to perform at niggas' proms and shit. Like, you know, I'm telling you this at 17. We both sitting in the same classroom.
Yeah.
But exactly. I'm telling you, like, yo, Stilettos got an open mic night. They said if you pay $20, y'all come perform, you know, on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so ahead of the people I was talking to. And that's no disrespect to Black, but, you know, I know at the time he was just focused on college. The music shit just probably wasn't, we probably just mentally weren't both where we needed to be at to connect. That's still my nigga to this day. That's still my business partner. But it's back then with what I was trying to do at Rambo ENT, I think niggas just, it was so, because if you think about it, bro, you 17, you got a label, you ain't got no studio. I mean, we had Joey Cool who charged $25 an hour in Alma Heights, And I used to tell niggas, like, yo, I will pay y'all to go up there and record. Let's make some songs, let's make some tracks. I used to tell Dwight, my nigga Phantom, like that was his producer name. I used to be like, Phantom Beats, bro. Sit in the house and make beats. Send me beats so that I can send them to E and them. I'll pay for them to go to Joey Cool Studio so we can record. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working out. I was too into it and they was too like, we doing this shit as a hobby.
Yeah, like, but you were taking it really, really serious, like 100% knee deep into it. Like, hey, yo, we need to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And that's all right, man. That shit happens in life. Like, like my mama and my grandma always told me shit like, sometimes you gotta take a detour to really get to your true destination. It just won't meant to happen that way.
Yeah, no, facts. So, which is crazy. I wish I could. I'm gonna send you the video if I can find it, but it's a Facebook video, literally, of me and my niggas talking about Rainbow ENT. And if you hear what I'm talking about, it sounds like we like a full-fledged label. I was like, yeah, Phantom gonna drop a beat tape, and then we gonna put some freestyles on it. We got some freestyles coming, all that shit. Cause the thing was, like I said, Black was really making music. Like, he really sold his first CD, his first album on CD at school for $15.
Man, that's tough. That's what's up.
And niggas on campus bought his CD. Like, it was freestyles to When I'm Gone by Wiz, freestyles to Grove Street Party by Walker. Like, it was a really good tape. And this nigga was selling that shit for like $10, $15, bro.
Like a real album, bro. Like getting real album prices off niggas. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, so like me and Black still cool to this day. The other guys went on to do other stuff. None of them are in music except Joey Cool. But it was a time when that happened, and that's that. As far as childhood artist management, that's as far as that story goes.
Well, hell, that's just honestly that's as far as it needed to go, man. That's like a superhero origin story, man. That's finna be the next Suge Knight or something, man. Something you need to tell us, bro.
Hey, man, like me even just sitting here telling you all that shit, I had to really look at myself in the mirror and be like, damn, like all that shit really did happen.
That's hard, bro. Like, that's some shit out of a movie. Like, like I ain't never done no shit like that in my life. And
yeah,
wow, that's crazy, bro. That's what's up. Like, I'm extremely proud of you for that, my nigga. Like,
which is crazy because just to fast forward a little bit, from 18 to fucking 23, I had nothing to do with music anymore. I had nothing to do with it. When I was 18, I started my clothing line, Young Dreamers Clothing Company. When I was 22, we started Creators After Dark and we started throwing shows. 23, I made my first film. 24 is when I actually met Big Papito, who's now signed to 2 Chainz and the True University. And that was my first client. That was my first artist management client after the high school shit.
So you took literally like a 4 to 5 year break.
I'm not even gonna say a break. I would say more of a hiatus than a break. I wasn't fucking. I just felt like I had put so much effort into it before I went to college. And once I got to college, I just wasn't studying that shit no more. When I came home, I had the clothing line business, and then we started doing pop-up shops. That's how CAD even happened. And when we finally started doing CAD shows, niggas would ask me like to manage them, and I'd be like, bro, like, I'm throwing shows. We making money at the door. Like, why would I waste my time trying to make sure you getting booked? And by the time Papito came around, we had been doing shows for damn near 2 years. We had already been out of town doing Birmingham shows. At the time, it just made sense. And what's so funny about this shit was I didn't even believe in him when he first played the music for me. Like, when I first met him, the music just wasn't synonymous. But he played me some shit that sounded like rock music that he was yelling. But it wasn't the music, it was the beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I might not like this record, but that beat is nuts. And then we sat down. We put together what was his first project, Playground. We had the listening party, all that shit. Like, that's why I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm a nigga that if I see it, if I can see it, I can see the full-fledged vision of it, like down to the album cover, down to
Every
everything.
intricate detail, everything.
Bro, we put it out. Couple fun facts. Way before Audio Mac now is like a big thing for artists, but when Papito came out in 2018, they hadn't really gotten that push yet. So I found Joe Vango, who's now the senior director of marketing at Audio Mac. He followed me, and I sent him Playground, and he put it on the trending topic list back when they didn't really have a lot of trending.
Yeah, I remember those days of Audio Mac. That was when Audio Mac was it was really, like you said, like how you guys were using it for up and coming artists that were just trying to get their content out there. It wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, nothing nowhere near like where it is today. So I started managing him. I managed him for 2 years. We separated right before the 2 Chainz deal, and then the 2 Chainz deal went through for him. So he's over there now. I also managed Christelle Bagru, who now I don't know who she signed to now, but she wrote, did she write BMO? She wrote Bussin' for Ari Lennox. She wrote Tape Verse that's on the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 album. So I managed her for 6 months. Crazy enough, that was Papito girlfriend at the time.
Oh wow.
Yes, I was managing both of them. And when I managed Christelle, the problem she was having was I think Sony or somebody was trying to sign her for like $50K. They wanted to sign her for a songwriter. She which is so funny because the whole time I was working with her, she just was like, bro, I don't want to write songs for people. And I was like, okay. And she had these shows and shit, and she wasn't getting booked because she had like 20K followers, but like, it didn't transition well into real life.
Yeah,
like she
the conversion rate wasn't that high.
Yeah, she couldn't pack the shows out. So what we started doing was I started just putting her on shit, and she started building like a little buzz. But what was interesting was like no one was really paying attention until she started being with us and having that CAD behind her. And what happened was I ended up meeting Lucas for, I can talk about all this shit now because I'm not either cool or like beefing with any of these people now. But I'm going to tell the
this
funny.
is just history.
Yeah. This is just history, and I can't lie about what happened. So I met Lucas Fudd, who at the time he was managing YG Tut, who was from Chattanooga, who got signed to Sony, and he was managing Brian Brown. And I met Lucas because he tweeted out one night that he needed a verse for Tut's album. Me and Christelle drove out there in the middle of the night to Tree Sound. Anybody that's listened to this from Atlanta, they know Tree Sound is far as fuck. Like it's literally an hour and a half drive out there every time.
God damn.
It's far. It's probably the farthest studio we have in Atlanta that's actually you'll go to. So we drove out to Tree Sound. We're there. The nigga, actually, the crazy shit is the nigga that engineered the session was Tiggy, who engineered American Team for Khalid.
Yes, he engineered the album for him.
Yeah, he engineered the album for Khalid. Yeah, so he did That's location. Yeah, bro. So like, I'm walking in that bitch and it's like, yo, what? Like, cause I didn't even know. I knew who Tut was because he was like a hot independent artist. But now that he was signed, I was like, oh shit. But anyway, long story short, Lucas took a liking to me. I started working with him, started trying to like figure stuff out. He closed the deal with Tut. Sony gave him like a freelance A&R position. And then Stream Cut, I remember the day he ended up becoming like a head of A&R at Stream Cut. And that's when he hit me and was like, bring Papito and Christelle through. I want to try to help them. and he told me he was going to A&R their project. And the reason I'm telling this story is because I want young managers to understand how to be careful in situations like this. So he told me he wanted the A&R project. I brought her over there. Long story short, we ended up not managing her no more. And she ended up kind of like working through them to get some of her placements and shit, which it's no issue now. We all grown and past that shit. But at the time, I was kind of hurt behind it because I felt like I felt like the chances we took, if we never took them chances, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I had never told her not to go to Vane, which is a local party in Atlanta that night, and to meet me so we can drive out there. And, we was out there till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I had to go to work the next day.
Wow.
So, just understanding that, like, we went out there. If we had never went out there and if I wasn't going up to Lucas' house and telling him, like, yo, I need your help with this. I need her help with marketing. Like, the music is great. The music is amazing. I know the music can go. It just needs a real push behind it, like real digital marketing push. And, I went to his house a couple times and told him that. Like, I feel like if I hadn't pushed her so hard on him when he got the stream cut, he wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
So, I ended up not managing her no more. And that happened. But she went on to do great things. Papito went on to do great things. Same situation. And then I'm gonna talk about one more person, then I'll go to your next question.
No,
I
bro,
started
you good. This is all freestyle. Like the whole point of this interview, you are just interviewing. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about me or about my questions. And the reality of it is, I find that while you're telling your story, you answer a lot of the questions that I ask. Questions are there to guide the conversation. They don't direct it.
Say less. So I had a third artist that I was working with. Funny shit is that I actually met her when she was 15. She was actually in my photo shoot for Young Dreamers Clothing Company. And the funniest shit in the world was the reason I found out she was 15 was because, like, we're already in college. Like, I think I was like 20. And it was so funny because her mom called me and was like, yeah, my daughter told me she's in your photo shoot. And I was like, yeah, she submitted and we picked her. And they was like, where's this photo shoot going to be at? I was like, oh, it's going to be a little 5 points. It's going to be outside. We're not shooting indoor. She's like, it's no nudity or anything, right? I said, no. They're wearing T-shirts. They're wearing T-shirts. We're going to take pictures. We're going to send the pictures back. We're not going to have them more than an hour. And she was like, oh, okay. So just to let you know, my daughter is 15. And I remember meeting her and I was like, yo, the fuck you mean you 15? Like, you're a little kid. Like, why did you submit? Like, I was like, bro, how'd you even submit to my fucking
How did you even find this? How did you even find this?
She was like, oh, I just saw it on Twitter. And I was like, oh, this looks cool. So I started working with her when she was 15. Didn't talk to her for a few years, actually, until she got into college around 18, 19, 20. Started working with her again. She fell off. We fell off again. And when I had CAD as a management company, I started managing her again. This is another reason why I'm saying all this is because I want young managers to know shit can go left very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with her and I told her, she actually was crazy as I had built the first CAD artist tour around her because she did R&B and I was hitting people up in different cities. Like these guys in New York wanted her to come perform at a show. Somebody in New Jersey wanted her to perform. I had hit this guy up in DC. He was like, oh yeah, I fuck with her music. We'll pay y'all, $250 for her to come up here to perform. So I had got a little 4-city tour for her going, really building it out.
And, that was smooth.
Yeah, and then I sent her that paperwork, that management paperwork, and I never heard from her again.
No.
So
those stories are I appreciate you telling those stories, bro, because and that's why I didn't want to interrupt you much, or that's why I kept it light, because this is really for this episode. Like I said, it's not about me, bro. It's about the people that you're trying to reach, and those raw, uncut stories that's what's gonna help them make those mistakes. And I just want to take a little break from the interview, just temporarily, bro. Like hindsight always 2020, my dog. Like we can always look back and pick apart our mistakes and what went wrong and how this went wrong, but at the end of the day, the only reason you can do that is because you did it in the first place. So, but either way, man, you did a lot of great things, bro, and just the fact that you kept trying. Like the key point that I wanted to pull out for the listeners through your stories, man, is that I don't believe I don't believe destiny is something that's set in stone. I believe it's something that finds us, as we navigate life. But I believe that once it finds us, that you can never really leave it. You'll always come back to it. And for those of y'all listening that are looking, to be artists or get into artist management like Jock, it's all right, bro. Like your journey is your journey. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And sometimes you gotta fall back and come back on to do better. And there's always gonna be ups and downs in it, but just keep going. Just stick to your guns, just stick to your passion, stick to yourself. Because at the end of the day, man, you're gonna get somewhere. And it may not be where you thought you were gonna be in your head, but maybe in all honesty, it's probably where you need to be. And that's okay. And that's okay. But go ahead, Josh. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, man, that's it. I mean, pretty much up to now, since those days, 2019, we started signing more guys and, doing different things, shout out to Audio Mac. Audio Mac has been a big help with us, like since day one. Shout out to Joe, Kim, Mark, everybody over there that, has ever placed one of my artists on a playlist, ever like put them on trending, they've always helped. So Audio Mac definitely helped us a lot, system wise, building out the CAD system.
Yeah. Like with the behind the scenes stuff, like the real like label development.
Yeah, because like the thing about Audio Mac was that, Audio Mac numbers don't lie, first off. And then, so many people organically listen to Audio Mac, like just to find new music or, overseas that, we had artists like Clue, who when he dropped his sophomore project, As You Should Too, he was the number 3 trending album of the day on Audio Mac when it drops. And that's independently, bro. That's like no PR,
no nothing, just
nothing,
straight,
just organic listeners. 37K plays the first week, the first day.
That is phenomenal. Some artists don't do that in a week.
You know what I'm
release
saying?
week.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a very beautiful thing. NBD, their little, the video they dropped for Get Some Help, I think did like 19K first day.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. That's what's up, man.
And people try to talk down on them small numbers, man. But like, then you had artists like Buddha, who, when we did Blessed Not Lucky, 20, 47K listeners.
People talk down on numbers, man, because social media has kind of really made us desensitized to shit. Like, yeah, we see these artists getting hundreds of thousands of streams, but you got to remember, like, these was regular people like you at some point. These are just people that's passionate, and you got to understand, like, those listens, bro. 46,000 people listening to your music, 37,000 people listening to it on the first day. Like, yeah, man, that's like crazy.
Bo Madness. What Bo did first day? I think first day Bo did like 6,500, but it's only a 5-song EP. And then the next day, he got on 2 playlists. He was on Sweat Life and he was on Monday to Monday, which is Gary V's podcast playlist, which, them is both very big plays, so I always tell people on the indie side, when you're building this base and you're building this audience, because people really got to understand when we talk about artist development and we talk about the beginning stages, you can look at somebody having, like, I'll hear somebody say like, oh, Doja Cat, or no, better yet, I'll even give a prime example, an example I literally saw happen. People will look at Young Baby Tate right now and be like, oh, Tate got 31 million streams. I'm not doing shit. Bro, I think Tate is like 24, 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. It's 2021. Let's go back to 2014, 2015. 6 years ago. Tate was working security, and I remember she was like recording all her music like off her laptop, everything, making beats off her laptop, and when nobody giving her the time of day.
Yep.
In Atlanta, she couldn't even get booked.
And that's why I said social media has desensitized us, because we're so used to seeing the results, or you know what I'm saying, that you don't really see the work that goes into that. So to that person, they grind it for it to earn every single listening, whether it could be 6,500 or 650,000. They still put in a tremendous amount of work, and especially being vulnerable, exposing themselves to people, working hard. They working a job, coming home, like you said, filming on a laptop, putting all their bread into it, like spending. I know I got homies that spend all their money on studio time. Like bro, anything is progress, man.
Yo, like I tell people, Tate, nigga, like the first time I booked Tate was 2017, and at the time, she didn't have management or nothing. She had just like a little buzz. She had a song called Roxanne out that was really doing like good numbers, but she was already kind of getting to like that Young Baby Tate like stardom, but she hadn't got there just yet. And she did our show, bro. And I tell people all the time, like, I remember an artist telling me like, well, I just want to do numbers like Tate doing. I'm like, bro, Tate has been doing music full time. I think she quit her security job like in 2014.
That's
so
7 years today.
That's 7 years of grinding independent. Like to this day, she's still independent. She's doing 31 million streams. She got the partnership with Issa Rae, but it's like, nigga, like I tell people in Atlanta, the most annoying thing to me in Atlanta is people who come here, see someone doing something, see them blow up, and be like, oh, I can do that too. And you don't know how many years it took to do it. Like people don't know. Like people don't know. Like Papito is signed, but bro, niggas don't know when I signed Papito, we were going from ground zero to where he is now. And when I say ground zero, I mean, nigga, no placements, and he probably had 3 songs recorded.
Sheesh. Like zero. Like that is
zero.
The ground floor. That's the foundation. Like this, y'all just laid the foundation and start to go from there.
And in 6 months, he went from 3 songs, which ended up becoming Playground EP, and he did 15 shows in 3 months off of that EP. Went to Birmingham plenty of times. He did hella shows off that shit.
Yeah.
He was getting booked like crazy. Like he was at one time, he probably would have been the most booked indie artist in the city. How much shit he was getting booked for. So it's like, bro, people don't see the grind. Like even Christelle kind of like walked in that stream cut situation in them 8 months we was managing her. But if we being honest, like the grind before that, she had already been like working her move for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in Atlanta, it's just so easy for people to look at it and be like, oh, well, I can come work with this guy, or I can work with this guy. I tell people all the time, like Metro Boomin was working since he was 16, bro, before he came to Morehouse.
See, a lot of niggas don't know Metro's story for real. And I know Metro's story because when I was growing up, I was listening to Metro, before he blew up. And then I seen it and I watched, I think it was his like first Vice interview, bro. Like niggas don't know Metro lived in St. Louis, bro. Metro mama was driving him to Atlanta just so he could work in the studio with niggas. Like Niggas don't know that every weekend, like he would literally get out of school on Friday, drive from St. Louis to Atlanta, work in the studio all weekend, drive back home, go to school because he had to go to school. So you know what I'm saying? Because truancy and shit. Then do the same thing over and over. He did that for years.
bro,
Years.
and niggas got the nerve to be like,
I can do
like
that.
I don't see no, bro. It's so many people's story that I saw firsthand. Nigga, Richie South was like at my house. Like when like I heard Top Off by Gunna 3 years before it came out. Half of the shit that's on Super Slimy. You know what I'm saying? Like shit that he did for Hood Rich Pablo 1. Like people don't even know half of them beats was for like Swag Hollywood, Made in Tokyo. Like, bro, I knew Richie before the I Want with 2 Chainz. Like that was my nigga. Like we used to talk every day about music and shit, and that nigga pulled up to the crib a couple times, but that was my man's. You feel me? Like, so to see him be the nigga who he is today, with Future, signed to Future, got all this money, got Playboy Cardi placements, everybody know him off the Gunna shit. It's like, bro, what? I remember this nigga telling me, like, bro, I'm just working my move, bro. Like, I'm just working my move. And the niggas he thought he was gonna blow up with, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, he just like I said, he had
Because
to
he was
take that
locked in with
detour.
Tokyo. He was locked in with Tokyo, bro. He was locked in with Tokyo. He was locked in with Jace. He was locked in with so many people. And he's probably still cool with them people. But I'm saying, like, I
That
remember
just
him.
wasn't how he blew up. That just
Yes, bro. And it's crazy. Like, imagine hearing Top Off, bro. The beat, the Top Off. And then when I finally fucking heard Gunna's version of it, I was like, nigga.
I heard this before. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I
Yeah,
know
like,
that's a crazy feeling. Like,
bro, like me and my nigga Rick listening to Super Slimy being like, bro, we heard this shit at the house.
at the crib, like, and
Yeah,
that,
like,
that's an important talking point, like that I always want to bring up because while like this podcast, for example, is giving you information, you can't ever underestimate the amount of work and dedication it truly takes to reach your goals. Like success nowadays is like an iceberg, right? You only see when you're in the ocean, man, you only see the tip of that iceberg. You don't see what's below the surface until you really dive deep underneath it. For all you fucking know, that iceberg could touch the sea floor, nigga, which is a couple miles down. And that's just a metaphor for how long a lot of people have been working. Music is not an industry, where even if it happens overnight, it a lot of times it never was really overnight. It never was really overnight. They've been working for years and years. And me and Jock were talking about this before we got on the podcast. And an important thing to remember, there's no such thing as luck in this world, right? There's no such, like, there is, but there isn't at the same time, right? Luck is just where opportunity meets hard work. You make your own luck. You make your own luck by waking up and being consistent every day for years on end, not looking for an end, but focusing on getting better so that when your end does present itself, when you do get that opportunity, when you do hit that stroke of luck, you know how to act, you know what to do. Because that's just the fact about the matter. You're not gonna get nowhere or nothing in this world without hard work. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not. But the whole goal of this podcast is just to provide you with resources to where you're doing that hard work for yourself. You're putting that work into things you're passionate about, things you want to do. But don't ever for a second think that it's going to be easy or overnight, because it's not.
it ain't, man. It ain't. I'll tell another story. He's not as famous, but he's definitely like, making his way in the world. This nigga Rossi, Lord Rossi from Hustle Gang. I remember this nigga being at my nigga Jack house smoking weed, telling me like, yeah, man, Roc Nation just gave me my publishing deal. So I'm finna be writing songs for folks. But Tip wanna sign me too. And I remember him playing songs, and I'm telling him like this Miss Me record. I remember telling him like, yo, that's the record, dog. Like, I don't know who you gonna get that shit to, but this the record, man. I can't remember who he sold the record to, but you know, it ended up getting him a plaque and changing his life, man. You know, he told me later on, like, I saw him at the gathering spot probably when I was working there. And I saw him and I was like, what's up, bro? You know, he was like, hey man, I just want you to know, my nigga, that record you told me. He's like, yeah, nigga, that shit changed my life. And I'm like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep going, man. Just keep hustling, because you never know how like small pieces of advice or just something you tell somebody to do, or you kind of like push back on an idea, you never know how they life will change. You know, like, you know, I ain't trying to say no credit for it, but you know, right before the thing that got Papito signed, which was the Where You From record from Sleepy Rose, I had told him to stop focusing on rapping and start producing more and just start really focusing on production. And like production is what got him signed.
And it's not, and you know, people might hear that and think, oh, he trying to take credit, whoop de whoop. But I
I'm not trying to
understand.
say I can
Yeah,
clear that up
nah,
very
you, and I know you're not, right? The
yeah,
thing
but
about it is you help people, right? It's all about helping people, bro. When you believe in somebody, that little piece of advice, because they know you believe in them, they're gonna listen to you, and now they're like, and then they're gonna see for themselves, damn, he has a point. He might have a point here. Let me try it out. It's just all the fact of trying to help somebody get it any way they can. And any type of advice you can offer somebody, you know, that's why it's always important, bro. No matter whether you feel like you might be awkward or you might be overbearing or any of that, always be 100 and keep everything genuine, bro, because you never know what, like you said, what piece of advice that could just make something click in somebody's head. And now they're like, damn, I see it. You feel me? I see it. And they go do it. And now their life changed. Because it's just all about helping each other, bro, to live the life we want to live.
for sure. Because what I was gonna say was I can clear that up, because it's not about me taking credit. What I'm saying is, to all the whoever listening to this, is what I'm saying is, when you have an idea, because like it wasn't like I told him that and he listened to me off rip.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He was like, and he had to, but he had to put it in his own
He had to
mind
figure
that
it out for himself.
yo,
Exactly.
this might be the better path. But I just told him I
You just
saw it
planted the
early.
seed. You feel me?
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
planted the seed in his mind.
Not even that. Not even that.
Not
I'm
even
not
that,
taking.
bro.
I'm not even taking no credit for that. What I'm saying is I saw the vision when Rossi played the Miss Me record. I saw the vision. I heard it, and I said, "Yo, I see people. I could envision being in a club and watching niggas going crazy, champagne popping, to all that shit." When I first heard the Where You From shit with Sleepy Rose, I was like, damn, this shit hard as fuck. Because it sounded like a record that could go up in the club. But before that, the beats he was, even down to like how he was making the beats, you would hear his beats in the studio and you might hear some shit that sound like crazy. And I would tell him, like, because he's African, I would be like, yo, you really got to get on this Afrobeat shit a little bit. And then, but he had already been doing that. So the Afrobeat shit that he was making, I was like, man, we got to get this shit to Wizkid. We got to get this shit to them, because I'm a big picture person. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I tell people, like, I don't take credit for nothing. I have the vision. And that's why people want to work with me. You know, I can put and it's a lot of people that I put the vision in front of, and because they can't get with it or because they can't see it, it just can't happen for them. It happens all the time. I work with a lot of people who at first it seems like we're gonna work good, and at the end of the day we can't. And you know, that's okay. I'm a very open, optimistic person. I don't take nothing to the heart. I understand that there's differences in opinions, there's differences in ideas, it's differences in blase, blase, whatever.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing I'm trying to explain right now to the creators who listening, managers who listening, whoever the fuck gonna listen to this, if you really pay attention to what I'm saying, it's all about having the vision. You have to be able, and when I say having the vision, I'm not saying like knowing talent. Knowing talent doesn't mean shit. You don't get paid for knowing talent. Knowing talent is a hobby. Developing and actually coming up with a plan that you know you can execute with any amount of money, whether if there's any money at all, that's a vision. I had a vision for CAD. I had a vision for Papito. I had a vision for Cristel. I had a vision for all of my artists that I've ever worked with. Clue, Buddha, Beauregard, MBDMG, every single artist, even the artists I worked with that weren't signed to CAD, but I might have executive produced or A&R their album. I had the vision to see the plan of how we could execute this fully.
Yeah, and honestly, I see what you mean. I see what you mean now, but and an important thing for those of y'all that may not understand what he means is the first step in doing something is believing in it, and you gotta believe in it. And that vision, like when you can see it, and like cause Jock, I'm the same way. Like when I hear ideas, like when I hear things, I see it see it so vividly in my mind, and I can just imagine myself there. It feels like I'm there, and I realize a lot of times that that vision is just a belief that, hey, this can really happen. Like I can see this in my mind. I can see this being real. And I don't know, I can't remember who told me this when I was younger, but it was some old head, man. I stayed around the old heads growing up. But he said, man, if you can see it, you can believe it and you can achieve it. So I always took your approach to things and I was like, damn, I see this. And like, yeah, bro, I can see you doing this, bro. Maybe you should, you feel me? Pivot a little bit. And I feel like that's the most important thing. Not even just about artist management, about life. Anything you want to do in life, bro, you can do it so long as that you can believe you can do it. Because the only thing ever stopping you is yourself.
Yeah, man, it's an amazing thing, and the only reason I had to really make that clear is because what I hate, and once again, we're gonna talk about shit that relates back to the music industry.
Yeah.
I don't ask for credit, and there's a reason I don't ask for credit. For anything I talked about up to the artists I work with right now, I don't ask for credit because Creators After Dark wasn't built on the shoulders of artists. So my company exists whether we manage artists or not. My company was around 3 years before we started managing rappers. So if I stop managing rappers tomorrow, we will still be in existence. We will still be a multimedia company. So I'm gonna just kind of walk through the history of CAD. So CAD started 2015. I'm in college. I got the clothing line, and then I had to start doing pop-up shops. So I would go to these pop-up shops. So I was going to pop-up shops and I was going to rap shows. The rap shows weren't organized well, and the pop-up shops, nobody was coming to. So I said, okay, well, let's do something to bring both of these things together.
Mm-hmm.
And once we started doing that, at the time, and like I said, this is a very truthful podcast. I'm not beefing, and I don't, I might not be friends with the people I'm speaking on, but I'm going to tell the truth. So the original crew of CAD was my nigga Ty, who his name's Creed Life Now. You might know him. He shoots videos for Young Dolph, K Camp, all type of people now.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, Creed. So Creed, real good dude. And this other dude named Reggie, who was a party promoter from Albany, Georgia. So we came together. We decided to throw the show. The first show went very well, even though we got fucked over on the venue. So we had to change venues, and we had to pay twice. We had to pay twice as much for the venue than we did for the original venue. And like 200 people showed up to that show, bro. And I'm gonna tell you how crazy that shit was. 200 people showed up to a show of nobodies.
People that never heard of.
Rappers they never heard of, visual artists they never heard of, and a crew of niggas they never heard of. All they knew was that the event was called Creatives After Dark.
And so that was enough to pique their interest to get them to come out, spend their money, and take a risk on experiencing something that they never even knew about.
Bro, it's crazy because, you know, when you really think about it, even to this day, I think about the lineup, nigga. The lineup was like my friends. And my friends weren't even getting booked for shows. I put like Izzy Jones on there, my nigga Shad. Was Black? Black wasn't on the I didn't put Black on the lineup because I didn't even know his ass was coming. He showed up last minute. Who else was on that lineup? Not MBDMG. It was just a bunch of niggas like we didn't know, bro. Like it was Fresco. Like it was niggas who like your friends. Like they all had their own friend groups. But it was people like even a girl I ended up dating like 6 years later was like, I came to your first CAD show. And I was like, what? I was like, you was there? She was like,
Wow.
yeah. She was like, yeah, I saw you and everything. She was like, that's why I follow you on Twitter, nigga. And I was like, what?
Damn.
Literally, like, and there's a picture and she's in the picture. And I never knew it. I never even thought about it. So it's like to this day, it's crazy. Then we kept doing shows. We did our first Birmingham show in 2016. Shout out to my nigga Mike Rich. We went out there, did a show with him. Same shit, but this changed. This is what changed the game a little bit. We went out there, Birmingham, did a show. Once again, none of the artists was from Birmingham, by the way. The only person that was from Birmingham was DJ Michael Lewis. Shout out to my nigga Micah. Shout out to Vibe Street. You know, that's my other family. But that nigga spun and like we like how many people can we really bring out? Because the artist that's on his timeline, like Children of the Corn, sipping them, they was from like they're from either Tuskegee or Selma. Kale's definitely from Tuskegee, Kale Charles. We brought a bunch of Atlanta artists. Black and them did perform at that show.
Okay.
And Win is from Tuscaloosa. A whole bunch of people. Like
But y'all just
Travis
had like a crazy mosh pit of people, bro. Like
from different, like half was from Atlanta,
everywhere.
the other half was from Alabama.
That's what's up
But
though, bro. Like, cause you
but
know,
we're not. But see, you know, you're saying it and being like, no, that's lit. But see, at the time, we were thinking like niggas not finna drive up from like their hometown to Birmingham to come to a show, and it's nobody. Plus, the show was only $3. Nigga, we did like 350 people in that bitch.
see, bro. But you, that's why I said it was what's up. Cause apparently y'all niggas got a good track record. So I had faith that the shit went good. You feel me?
350 people, bro. And at the time, not trying to say like nobody's, but just giving everybody that's listening context. Like these niggas did not have fans, bro. Like we are throwing these shows and people are coming out to see these shows, and we're like, what the fuck? Why are y'all showing up? Like, why are you driving from Montgomery here to see this rap show tonight?
Like y'all couldn't even believe it was happening,
bro. Like packed. When I say packed, I'm talking about packed to capacity. Then we left. What else happened in 2016? Oh, I made my first film, Homies, an introspective of my creative friends. We had the screening in Atlanta. And once again, just going back to the whole, you know, made a film about nobody's, like me and Jack were probably the most popular niggas in the movie. And nobody really knew my nigga DeCarlo. Nobody really knew my nigga Rob that made a small appearance in the movie, or Travis. Travis was from Alabama. And, you know, when we made Homies and screened it, you know, the screening was free. But, you know, we're expecting, realistically, I would say this. I was expecting 40 people.
Just being honest with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but because we did promo for it, but I didn't expect, you know, it was a movie. Jack was like a recluse that people knew. So I didn't expect hella people coming out to see him. I didn't expect hella people coming out to see me. I just was like, this is not a CAD event. It's just a movie screening. Doors opens. and this is no cap. Let's say the room could hold 100 people, chair wise. Dog, we opened up the door. We closed the door at 8:30. The room was filled in 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
There was people waiting around the block to get in the cold. It was cold ass day too. It was waiting in the cold to get into the movie.
That's love right there, bro. That's love.
And not only that, when we started the movie, everyone was sitting down. By the time the movie was over, the whole half back row was filled with people standing up or trying to stand to the side. So 40 more people had came in while the movie was showing.
Wow. That's fucking amazing, man. That's amazing.
So I've just always been a person that not downplay myself, but I always just used to tell myself, like, yo, man, like, don't get the big head. Don't get the big head. Like, focus, just focus. And when we were doing these shows, man, we were just tweeting it. It wasn't no Instagram ads being paid for. It wasn't no Facebook ads.
It was just all organic.
To this day, we don't do Facebook marketing. To this day, we're never promoting the shit on Facebook. Black is the only person that promotes my shows on Facebook, and he promotes it to who he know. He doesn't really like push it.
Yeah, post them and do all that, run ads and stuff.
Nah, like, so the brand name was that strong that it was helping shit like the screening. And then so let's jump forward a little bit. So 2017, wrote my first book. Same shit. So selling out of books, selling out everything just off that's just off the strength of the CAD name. 2018, we're doing shows. Of course, we started picking up management. So 2019 was an intricate year because 2019, we lost a lot of clients, but we gained a lot of clients. But the problem also was like the shows in Atlanta were becoming so rampant that it was so many shows in Atlanta that I just was like, well, my guys have kind of grew out of this. I want to take them on tour.
Yeah. You want to expand.
We did our first 5-city tour. We did.
What cities did you guys go to on that first tour?
We did DC. We went to Songbird in Washington, DC on Union Street.
Okay.
We did Brooklyn, Star Bar out in Bushwick. We did Birmingham, Alabama. We did it at the Freedom House. Miami, we did Art Basel. We had an Art Basel event at this fire-ass warehouse that I think is still down there on South Beach. And then we closed it out in Atlanta at Mother. Rest in peace. It's no longer a venue in Atlanta, but we did at Mother. We're not only the last show that we did at Mother, we're the last show that met capacity.
At Mother. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That was a hell of a way to end the tour.
So, and I want to go in a little bit about the detail of the tour because I want to explain, like,
please do.
Once again, we're doing this tour with no big promotions. And when we went to DC and did the show, most of the artists, the DJs were from DC, but most of the artists that we booked weren't from DC. They were from Baltimore. They were from all around. And what was interesting was the man who owned Songbird was like, I don't even let rap shows happen here because they usually can't bring out more than 20 people. He said, I've never met you guys before, and y'all brought 175 people out to a show on a Saturday night on Union Street. And he said, the local guys can't even do that.
Damn.
And I'm sitting there like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm like,
nigga, we don't care. Like,
we just doing what we do.
We just working, man. We just getting in.
New York, I think we did 100. I think we did 100, 110. Brooklyn. We had to get a shitty night. That's why we did 110. Because the first time we did the CAD NYC show, we did like almost 200. But we had to get a shitty rainy Tuesday night to get it for the price we wanted. But on a rainy Tuesday night, we still packed the venue out.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like even shit like that, like having a show on a Tuesday.
And packing it out. Like that's not something that a lot of people can say they're doing, bro. Especially with little to no paid promotion. That's people ain't doing that. Let's keep it on it. They're not.
So that happened. Then we went to Birmingham, same shit. But every time we go to Birmingham, we kind of do between 100 to 300 people. It's always over. It's never under 120. It's never over I'm gonna say 500 people. So we've always had a good turnout in Birmingham. Our base, we had a great turnout, which was crazy because I didn't even go to that show. Shout out to my nigga Bodega and Pete. They held it down.
Bodega, man. Shout out Bodega.
Yeah, they held it down on our end, and the Kickback After Dark ATL show is still one of the best shows we ever did. That shit was packed, bro. Like Mother was packed. Like it's people still telling me to this day they've never seen Mother like packed to capacity like that. The upstairs room. So, we did the tour 2020, the pandemic happened. So we kind of had to pivot. We didn't do anything for a long time. And then luckily around October, we was able to do Since Day One, a show that I'm still very proud of. I'm probably going to be proud of for the rest of my life, only because we packed that shit out in a pandemic. We sold out of wristbands at midnight.
In a panoramic.
Yeah, the show didn't end till 2 a.m. So it's like selling out mid-show, and Bodega down there, like, he's like, yo, niggas ain't even got cash. Like, I got to start taking cash after PayPal. They running out of cash at the door. You know what I'm saying? That's how many people are trying to get to my show to see niggas perform. It's so many people upstairs at Union, you can't even get to the upstairs. You got to sit on the stairs and like listen to the show. And hope it's enough room that you can get to like maybe the front of the stage.
Yeah, like literally that pack, like sardines in a can. And again, in the middle of a fucking pandemic, like niggas really, risking the possibility to get sick just to fuck with y'all. That just goes to show, in all honesty, it just goes to show how hard you have been working at it, and also how much you guys believe in, how much you guys really believe in it. Because and people, that's really what sells people, is that confidence. Like, yeah, bro, like you don't gotta fuck with it, but we're gonna keep doing this and we're gonna keep going. And we're gonna keep packing these shows out, and that's just what we're gonna do. That consistency, I really commend y'all on that. I know it's ups and downs and everything, and everything, it's not always easy, or it's not always what you want. But at the end of the day, bro, y'all are doing great things, and I commend y'all at CAD. I really do. I really, you feel me? I'm looking at y'all. I'm not saying I'm looking up to y'all necessarily, but shit, I do. Y'all guys are setting an example for niggas like me. Y'all showing us the right way to do things. So
yeah, and we trying to show as many people as we can, because that's really the bigger picture of like all of it with this shit, is we're trying to show niggas that no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, you can do it budget, no budget. You can do a small budget. Like
do it. You can do it.
I remember 2015 get people telling me like tour, like, what do you mean you're gonna do a tour? I was like, 5-city tour. I like even telling label people telling me, like, you want to do a tour, you need this much. It's gonna cost you about $10,000 to do. And bro, the first CAD tour, we did that shit. That shit cost us $1,200. That's venues. That's all venues paid for, including travel. We spent $1,200. Me and Black took me and Black took the train from Atlanta to Brooklyn. We all went in on a rental to go to to go to DC. We stayed at Muncie Aunt house, DJ Chase and Capital Auntie house. We drove to Birmingham. Bodega flew down there to Miami on like a companion pass, and we did Mother. We got the venue for free at Mother.
Wow. But
so it's like $1,200. We did a 5-city tour. So any nigga out here listening that's got a rap homie or you manage an artist and shit, look, bro, like, and I just want to say this too. We did that tour not looking at analytics, not targeting cities to go to because, oh, you know, such and such has this many listeners in DC or this many listeners in New York City. I also want to say that the Legends of the Summer Tour that we're about to do, the same principle applies. We're not going off analytics. I am purposely throwing shows in markets where you might not have a high listener rate so you can make new fans. We went to DC on purpose because I had no idea about their music scene. We went to New York on purpose because in New York, if you don't know somebody, more than likely, you're not going to have a huge turnout. Same thing in Miami. Same thing with us going to fucking Providence this year. We're going to Providence next month just to kick off the tour. And I've never been to Providence a day in my life. I know nothing about their rap scene. Little Rock, I don't know nothing. New Orleans, I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
but you feel me? But that's how you learn. You'll never learn if you never go. You'll never learn about those things if you never take out and take it for yourself. You'll always be going by what somebody tell you about the market or how somebody tell you to do it. But shit, the best way to figure out what's best for you is to do it and figure it out along the way. I mean, experience is always the best teacher. I mean, that's just the facts of it. No bullshit.
Yeah, man. But that's really it. Like that's what we've been doing. I'm gonna say this: don't be scared to try anything. Don't be scared to go out here and try to figure out like what you want to do. Or and with rappers, I want to say if it's a rapper or a rapper manager, like listening to this, don't be scared to like bump your head and make a mistake and like just feel like everything you gotta do gotta be seen to the public as like this clean perspective. It's not. One is unrealistic. Don't put that type of pressure on yourself. And two, you can make mistakes. I mean, you know, sometimes your artist is gonna be late on sending a feature over. You know, sometimes your artist is gonna say some stupid shit on the timeline, and now you gotta like do damage control. I mean, it really is what it is, bro. Like, just don't kill yourself over regular human error. We're all human. We're all together. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to make mistakes. Artist managers, you might make a mistake, man. You might not get the back end at the show because the promoter ducked you or he was ducking you the whole night. So you might have got short on the money. I mean, shit like that happens all the time, bro. You can be mad about it. You could fire your manager over it, but I promise you, there's plenty of managers who have made that mistake and still employed. And there's a lot of managers who didn't make that mistake, but they made even worse mistakes.
Yep. And yeah, that's all it is, bro. Like, you just gotta try with this shit, man. Just with music, with life, you can't be scared to fuck up. Hell, how you gonna get better if you never fuck up, man? How you gonna get better if you never start? Starting and doing is the first step, man. Like, you can't be scared to fail because failure is a catalyst to success. Every successful person will tell you, man, I failed way more times than I've succeeded because that's what prepares you for success. You gotta fail. You gotta bump your head. Shit, to be personal with y'all, I fail on this shit. You know, I miss deadlines. You know what I'm saying? I make mistakes. Shit, I fuck up. You know, sometimes I feel like I don't know what to say. I don't think I ask the right questions. I don't none of that. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna keep doing it because shit, as long as I keep doing it, I can always keep getting better, bro. As long as I keep doing it, I can always keep getting better. So you just gotta internalize that. If you're listening, man, just really take that. If you don't learn nothing else from this, just go and do it consistently and just keep trying. Eventually, you're gonna get somewhere. You're gonna get somewhere. Is there anything is there anything else you like to add, Jock?
Not really, man. Like when the music shit, I just want people to know, man, like there's no guide. It don't matter what you're reading. It don't matter who you talk to. It don't matter who's your mentor. Like there is no guide to this music shit. There is no written testimony that will ever help you fully understand this shit. And I want to make it very clear that I'm not anti-college, but there's no college course, there's no program, nothing. I heard there's like some college course somewhere in Tennessee that like teaches people how to like really work with artists and shit. Let me tell you something. Until you take an artist from point A to point B, you're never going to get the experience that you think you need, which is why there's so many artists getting signed that's terrible that get put on high pedestals because there's people in those offices who never were in the trenches who got the promotion through some type of nepotism. I'm sitting here telling you, and I'm not telling you to struggle on purpose. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when I say the trenches, I'm talking about even if you're just out here working an artist and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get him to the next level, just understand that you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make the music work. If the music is good, and I tell everybody the same shit, if the music is good, it can sell itself. That's the easy part. The music is the easy part. The hard part is, how do you get new fans? How do you get people to care? How do you get people that like the music to care enough to buy it? How do you get the people that like it enough to buy it to buy merch? How do you get the people that like it enough to buy merch to buy a ticket to come to a show or a virtual concert? How do you get those people that like that shit to tell their friends, so now their friends are fans and now you can repeat the process?
Yeah.
There's no end game with this, bro. It's even when you get your platinum plaque and you done your million sales the first month off your debut album, if you signed, you got 4 more albums to make, and the process only gets harder after the first album. So keep winning, keep losing, keep failing, fall down 10 times, get up 12, figure it out, and just do what you got to do. And
most
just
importantly, just keep going, my nigga.
Keep going no matter what. The play don't care who make it. And I just want to say that is the best thing in my 27 years of living that someone ever said to me, was the play don't care who make it. Opportunity waits on no man.
Nope. You may, and that's exactly why I firmly believe in making your own luck, because that opportunity is gonna be there whether you're ready or not. If you miss out on it, that's all right. Shit, you ain't gonna get all of them, bro. But just prepare yourself to be ready for the next one. That's all this shit about, man. Consistency, and work ethic. You'll get a long way in this world with just consistency and work ethic. But hell, man, Jock, if you don't, I don't have anything else. Like I said, man, I didn't need to ask you no questions. You literally covered everything I had written down.
Yeah,
Naturally.
man, I had to stop myself. I felt like I was talking too much.
Oh hell no, bruh. No, bruh. I'm a naturally quiet guy. I don't like to interrupt people too much while they're talking. I really just wanted to let you get that out because that's what I want people to hear. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want people to hear. But if you don't have anything else, man, we appreciate you having me. We appreciate having you on. We appreciate you coming down, dropping free game, telling us about yourself a lot, giving all the free game, man. Those stories, bro. A lot of those stories, man. Shit felt like I was watching a movie, listening to you talk. But thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you.
Anytime, my G. Anytime. I appreciate you.
No doubt, bro. But as always, if you listen to this, Live Grande. Check out CAD on Twitter, Creators After Dark. Check out Grande Gang. Stay tuned for the summer. It's gonna be a Grande summer, man. And we starting a new hashtag. So if you listen to this episode, hop on Twitter and tweet hashtag Live Grande. Tag us on Twitter. Let me know you listen to it and let us know you stuck to the end. You might get something for it. You might get something for it. But y'all be blessed, stay blessed, stay grinded, and stay working, dog.